Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is my boomstick.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Houston, we have a problem.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Film Nerds podcast. My name, as always, didn't change as of last week, is Will Spalding, and it still says Sam Dierberger on the Zoom tag. Sam, is that correct?
I mean, it is for now. I'm thinking of changing it. It's just I've gone a while with this name, and it's just not suiting me anymore. You have gone as far as I have known you since eighth grade. You've always had that, so yeah. It's just a lot of. It's like when you it's like when you do anything online. People get to know you as something, and then you're like, no. I'm different now. So changing a name, I mean, besides the labor and the expensive costs that go into all that legal paperwork, I mean, people know me by this name now, which is unfortunate because I didn't get to choose it, but we're sticking with it for the time being.
Right. It'll suit.
So as far as witty banter goes, that was one of the more strange.
That was up there.
That was one of the more strange back and forths we had on the show. Could have something to do with the hour. We were recording this at 9:18 p.m. It's been a while since we recorded a podcast at night.
Yeah, man, we don't do this often, and I'm a big morning person. Like this is far past my bedtime.
Yeah. To be at work this late, I mean, if we weren't the bosses at TFN headquarters, then we would be expecting overtime. But that's the problem with being the boss is you can't pay yourself overtime.
Correct.
Because you're already paying yourself.
Correct. Hey, first one here, last one to leave. That's how it goes when you're in charge, like we are.
All the interns have returned back to their parents' basements.
Oh my gosh, yeah, those guys are lazy. They're all lazy. They do no work. No, we're kidding. But Sam, what? We're here to talk a movie. What is this movie this week?
This week, we're going to be talking about Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Why'd they put you in a fire tower?
Well, I'm just lucky, I guess.
No, Those Who Wish Me Dead. Cool title. I should say that. That's a pretty sweet title.
Very cool. Very cool. I dug it.
But we'll get into all of Those Who Wish Me Dead thoughts here in a little bit. But before that, I did want to touch on one piece of industry news. Sam, I feel like you've probably heard this. And then if you have anything, we can talk about that too. But have you heard of this new movie starring Timothy Chalamet called Wonka? And it's
I unfortunately have.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a Willy Wonka origin movie because I mean if you told me to make a list of movies I would want to see, that'd be number one.
The entire time I'm watching, whichever adaptation you prefer. Anytime, probably not the Johnny Depp version, but anytime I'm watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I'm just thinking, well, yeah, this is nice, but well, what about his origin? I mean, what the heck?
Right.
When are we going to see his origin story?
Well,
So
I
I'm
mean-
glad Hollywood is finally fulfilling that need for me.
The only thing we can hope is it's an origin for the Tim Burton one and not the classic 1973 one, because I just want to see dark and twisted, but it's edgy.
Right. Right.
Um,
Well, is he? I mean, appearance-wise, would you consider him closer to Johnny Depp or closer to Gene Wilder?
Depp, I guess, but neither really. I don't.
Yeah, that's what's so weird. I mean, I can see just Willy Wonka as a character. I think Timothy can kind of embody him, but not in the same way that Wilder or Depp did. It's just I can see, Timothy in the purple suit and the top hat. It just makes sense on some level.
Well,
But
we probably
should this project be made? Absolutely not.
I mean, we probably won't see Chalamet in the purple suit and the top hat till probably the end of the movie, because if it's an origin. The thing that just confuses me about this movie is, you said it, you're exactly right. I do not care where Willy Wonka comes from. Like, at all. That
Right.
I mean, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is, I think, a pretty good movie. And it works on a large part due to that character of Willy Wonka is mysterious. We don't know really much about him at all. We don't really know a ton about his chocolate factory. We don't know where he came from. So, and all of those we don't know are excellent, because you don't need to know any of them. It doesn't matter. But
Right. Exactly.
I guess we need this.
I felt the same way about there's this movie that you might have heard of called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That
Nope, not aware. No, I haven't. No.
I felt the same way about this Netflix series Ratched, where we have to learn the origin story of Nurse Ratched, who is the principal antagonist in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which like this new obsession with origin movies. I was about to say horror movies. Origin movies. I mean, I don't see the value in a lot of them, because a lot of these franchises, a lot of these characters were written with that built in already. Like, if you're developing a character, there's already a hint of where they came from. That's how you develop a character. That's what makes a character good. And they're only doing these origin movies to characters that are well constructed to begin with, that are memorable, that everyone likes. So why?
It's just this just doesn't need to happen. I saw this, and Sam, honestly, I wasn't even gonna bring it up because I was just like, this is just dumb. And then it just was circulating the internet for whatever reason. Like, I felt like I saw this everywhere. I'm like, why? Who cares? Nobody cares about this.
Yeah. Well, Timothy has a tendency to break the internet, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? And yeah. I think Chalamet chooses a lot of really interesting roles, and I think for the most part he's good at that. So I guess I would say that gives me a slight amount of hope. But I just honestly, like, not even afraid of this movie being bad, because I'm sure it'll be okay. But right. I just don't need to see it. Like, I don't. Was there a single person asking for this? Like, one person? Did one person want to know? Because if that's the case, then by all means make it for that one person. But I just don't think there was a single person.
I want an origin story on Grandpa Joe, who is the true antagonist in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Um,
Grandpa Joe's terrible.
this case was made by I think it was the guy at Film Theory. I think he made a video essay about it
Okay.
on YouTube. But he talks about, like, people don't realize when you're watching the movie, but Grandpa Joe, like, ruins everything. Like, every bad thing that happens is
Yeah, he's
his
terrible.
fault.
Yeah, the bubbles, which almost gets Charlie killed / kicked out.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
a
terrible.
horrible person. Let's get an origin story on him, not Wonka. So yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I might see it if there's nothing else playing, in 4 years or whatever at the movie theater, but not necessarily something I'm looking forward to. Speaking of kind of origin stories, I think this might be a little bit of a stretch of a segue. New Batman animated series coming from Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, and Matt Reeves. Batman has been brought to screens big and small so many times, it's a wonder anyone can find anything new to do or say. But still, the Bat projects keep coming. And while the character has been very effective in animated form before, the idea of Bruce Timm, who created the iconic Batman the Animated Series, returning to the world of another Bruce Wayne makes Batman Caped Crusader that much more exciting. This is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, because Matt Reeves is involved. Matt Reeves, of course, is currently involved in the Batman project with Robert Pattinson. What do you make of this?
That's interesting. I mean, I know that 1990s series, Batman the Animated Series, I think is what it's called. So you've seen that, right?
Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of them. Yeah, you can kind of watch them out of order, but they're really ahead of their time.
Yeah, I've heard they're really good and really popular. I know that. I don't know. I mean, sure. So I mean, I honestly I won't watch this. I just don't super care about Batman, but yeah, I mean, I think Batman deserves to be good. So if this is the medium in which it can be good, then by all means, go to town,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, I think I might have talked about it on the show before, but Batman the Animated Series is really, really, it's very dark. It's like it's not quite a kid's show. It's kind of marketed that way, but it's really not like, it's not like the 60s, Adam West Batman. Like it's quite dark.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they would be going with this. I'm not quite sure that I'm not sure what they're doing because with Matt Reeves being involved, I would assume that this coincides, at least plot wise, with the Batman, the Robert Pattinson version of the Batman that they're currently working on, which is, by the way, set to be released March 4th, 2022. So that's coming up.
Yeah, it really is. It's less than a year from now.
Which is kind of wild because the original release date was actually June 2021.
Gosh, we'd be right there then.
We would be right there. So this is quite interesting. But yeah, thought I would bring that up. Did you have any other pieces of industry news to talk about?
No, I really only had the one bit, just the Wonka news. I mean, I'm ecstatic for it. I can't wait.
I think we've made our enthusiasm quite clear.
Oh gosh, yeah. If you could, I know this is an audio format. This is an audio medium, but man, if you could see my face, it's lit up. Let me just tell you.
Oh my God, just burning with excitement.
Yeah.
So then with that, should we get into those who wish me dead?
Let's do it.
I read the wind wrong. I should have gone to them.
And you'd be dead too.
That's our job.
Okay, so I mentioned that Those Who Wish Me Dead has a cool title because Those Who Wish Me Dead is a cool title. So I'm done with the positives. On to you.
Oh no.
No, I'm kidding. There's a few more positives, but oh man, this is rough. This is pretty rough.
Really?
Yeah, so there were three since we did our last episode, The Woman in the Window. There were 2021 releases, or three movies that I saw that got released within the past 2 weeks, all three of which I quasi considered to do an episode on, and you said this one, so I was like, that's perfect, that's fine. This still might be the best of the three that I saw, which is rough, which is really rough, but
Hey, that's something.
but yeah, this not good for me, but it sounds like you might have enjoyed it a little bit more than me though, Sam, so I want to hear your thoughts. Why am I wrong? Because I'm sure I
Well,
am.
perhaps I honestly had no idea what your opinion of this film was, because I don't even think you've, since last time I looked, at least, I don't think you've.
I logged it like an hour and a half ago, an hour ago, whatever.
An hour and a half ago. Yep, there it is. Wow. Okay.
Is it
I have
in
an
that
idea
format?
what you think now. It's it's in. It's there's a noticeable difference in our opinions of this movie. I don't know. Part of this could be because we haven't been in the theater a lot over the last year, obviously, and I think this could be a case of what I refer to as theater bias, partially, in that where you see a movie in a theater and it just obviously there's just an element of appreciation that you have for seeing a movie in a theater that you attribute to the movie instead of just the theatrical experience itself. So that could have something to do with my opinion here.
You're right. If this were on Netflix, I might have turned this off if it were on Netflix, to be honest with you. But continue.
So yeah, I don't feel absolutely awful now that I texted you saying, Those Who Wish Me Dead actually wasn't terrible. I said something like that because I don't think this movie is terrible. I really don't. I don't think it's good, certainly. But look, I mean, Those Who Wish Me Dead was refreshing because it combines a kind of typical action thriller plot with kind of a natural disaster movie that was the kinds of natural disaster movies that were prominent in the 90s, particularly. And I think that juxtaposition worked really well for me. I thought it was kind of refreshing and pretty predictable, but an enjoyable kind of predictable. I don't think I was ever bored per se. And I walked out of the theater feeling like I had gotten exactly what I expected. So
Fair enough. Fair.
that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not like we go into movies and want them to be bad. So it's
Right.
Even if one of us finds something positive about it, that's great. But man, I pretty much wasn't on board with this from the literally the first scene. I thought that opening, or those first 15 minutes, those are rough to me.
Yeah.
From the start all the way to when Angelina Jolie's character does some weird truck parachute thing. That was so dumb.
Yeah.
Why is Angelina Jolie this daredevil rebel person? There's no part of me believes that at all. And I don't know, maybe just miscast. Maybe Angelina Jolie didn't know what she was doing. And man, she is so terrible in this movie too. Really aggressively bad.
I wouldn't say aggressively bad. I'd say she's bad.
There was parts of this where I was like, man, she must have been asleep during the filming of this. She definitely does not remember being there, is all I'm saying. She blacked out for a while. I mean, oh my gosh.
That's true. That's true. But you have probably seen more Angelina Jolie movies than I have.
I honestly don't know.
Gosh,
she's a board in this movie though. There's not much going on with her character, to be fair. She doesn't have a ton to work with.
Right.
But,
well, the thing that I noticed probably most prominently about her performance was that she could not decide on what accent she was going for. Her accent changes 4 or 5 times during the runtime.
yeah.
And at first, I mean, this takes place completely in Montana, in the wilderness of Montana. And she's going for this Southern accent at first, and then it becomes more Midwestern. And then it's just typical Angelina Jolie talk. And then she kind of starts leaning into her O's a little more and trying to capture that kind of Northern United States dialect. I'm like, what are you doing? But
it was really weird when she went really hard Russian accent too. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, that one
was a little unnecessary.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. The Soviets are bad and everything, but come on now.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense.
She went full Jennifer Lawrence and what is that? Red Sparrow? What is that called?
Something Sparrow.
What is that dumb movie?
Something Sparrow.
Yeah. But I feel like while we're talking about Angelina Jolie, I feel like the only reason she was in this movie was because they were trying to sell the script to the production company. And they were like, and the production company was like, we're not convinced. Give us a big star to lead.
Give me a star. Yeah, for sure.
Give me a star and then we'll get it made, And it's just no one was calling, and Jolie maybe was short on cash or something.
I have no idea why. What drew her to this? I mean,
I could think of 15 better actresses that are A-list stars that would be better suited.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence would be good. Charlize would be amazing.
Yeah, needs a better script too. This script is pretty bad. A lot of that dialogue is rough at times.
Some of it, yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, so a bit of a casting mistake on the Jolie part, and that's why I kind of put in my review though. You need that star power to kind of ground this movie, almost subconsciously, to take it seriously. But I feel like a lot of the other actors do a decent job.
Actually, so I thought the kid was really pretty good.
The kid was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean he was crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, like he's going for it. Good for you. I really like John Berthnall. I think he's really pretty good in a lot of things, even if he is kind of the same dude. It was doing something a little different here, I guess. But he's gotta do one kind of crazy screaming thing, and he did that here so perfect. If there's ever some dude, if there's ever in your script some dude yelling at some other dude, just call John Berthnall. Just call him.
He's perfect. He's perfect.
And he'll execute.
Interestingly, I'm looking at the cast list now. The two bad guys, all right, who, by the way, in case you were wondering, are named Patrick and Jack. Very unique names. The cast listing doesn't even have last names. Like they're just like not important.
It's okay.
You know, Nicholas Hoult as Patrick and Aidan Gillen as Jack. Nicholas Hoult is British and Aidan Gillen is Irish. And they both have these American accents. So they had to reach across the pond to fill these roles. I'm not sure why, because, you know, any, you know, F-list actor could have fulfilled these roles. Like it's not hard. It's like, can you fire a gun and yell? But I think that's quite interesting. John Berthnall, I agree with you. He is kind of his typecast here, but he's
cool though. I like him.
He's good for what he is, you know. Medina Singhor as Allison. I can only assume that is the badass pregnant woman.
Yeah.
which was quite a cool scene, which we can get into. But yeah, I mean, this cast list, while besides Jolie is you know, relatively unknown, well, Tyler Perry shows up in it.
Okay. I'm sitting in the theater and I'm like, you know, our bad guy Jack, Aidan Gillen, who that bad guy, I thought the bad guys were okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was that bad guy, the kind of the older one. He was so like just a walking, talking cliche.
Yeah.
And the other brother, I guess they're brothers, yeah, was better. Nicholas Holt's character was better. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the older one walks up to Tyler Perry's character, and I'm like, what is Tyler Perry doing here? I'm so confused now. Like, why are you here, bro? And then for a second I was like, wait, that's not him. And then I heard him speak, and I was like, okay, never mind, that's him. But I was just like, what is he doing here? What is going? He's like, is he a mob boss? I was confused a couple times on like what characters were who. I didn't know who Tyler Perry was. I guess he's the boss, I suppose. I didn't know who Jolie was talking to on the phone. I played a clip of it in the trailer. I had no idea who she was talking to. I figured they would have answered that. Like I was thinking, you know, this is gonna be a spouse, or I don't know I don't know. It just never got answered. Was it one of her firefighting friends? I don't know.
Yeah, that's not. I'm assuming it was Tori Kittles, maybe.
It could have been. I guess I don't.
Point is, I guess it's not important.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is dumb.
But he cares about her, I guess. So
yeah, he cares about her, you know.
Also, well, he probably cares a lot, Sam. Just like Rosamund Pike.
Rosamund Pike cares so much.
Oh my gosh, she cares a lot.
That she made the worst movie of 2020.
You know, can we get a
2021?
Sequel? Can we get a sequel, please?
Can we hurry up and get a sequel to
It's gonna be called I Care So Much. It's gonna be awesome.
Or will. I care a lot 2, but T O
Oh,
O.
oh, that's oh my gosh. There's $1 million. Okay. Netflix, here we are. I Care a Lot 2, TOO. Obviously, since Rosamund Pike got, spoiler alert, killed at the end of that, it's going to be somebody else who cares a lot as well.
They'd be
gosh.
like, "How much do you want for it?" We'd be like $1 million. They'd be like, "Would you take 50 million?"
It's like, it's gonna. Well, Sam, when you're forming the ICALCU, the I Care a Lot Cinematic Universe, you need that money. So, yeah, but I feel like I Care a Lot is a movie that most people watched and was like, that was pretty cool. And then we saw it and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's terrible.
I just felt gross watching that
Yeah,
movie.
this is so bad.
It's just I felt disgusting. Anyway, you can tell how much we liked Those Who Wish Me Dead by how little we're talking about Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, I don't think let's get into the plot.
Go for it.
So we have this.
Yeah, you go for it. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Let me know. How it went.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I'll just talk through it real quick. So we have Hannah, played by Angelina, and she's a smoke jumper, which, first of all, pretty cool occupation.
Oh, super cool. That actually, so we have one scene of people jumping from the plane. So awesome. That was the coolest part of the movie.
That was like the first shot, but
Oh, well, and the end.
well, and the end, I guess.
First and last. Best parts of the movie. Oh my gosh.
So she's haunted by guilt because she couldn't save these 3 young campers and a fellow smoke jumper in a forest fire from an undisclosed amount of years ago. And she's still haunted by this. And
So cringe. Oh my gosh.
she is now posted in a fire lookout tower in Park County, Montana. It's not revealed how long she has to hold this position of just sitting in a fire tower.
It sounded to me like the whole summer.
She's just gonna hang out in the tower all summer.
Yeah, I guess.
No bathroom, as she points out. It's like, I don't know. Very strange. Meanwhile, okay, so this is actually what I liked about this movie. The movie was sophisticated enough to have 2 separate plot lines that kind of converge. And they kind of take place in like seriously different locations. So you're thinking to yourself, like, how are these connected? We have a smoke jumper, a former smoke jumper dealing with PTSD. And then we have Owen, a forensic accountant, learning about the death of his
James
boss.
Spader lookalike, you mean?
James Spader knockoff.
I saw him and I was like, what the heck? This guy looks exactly like James Spader.
He actually looks a lot like my English professor, but not important. He does really look like James Spader. We should have just gotten James Spader for the role. So he finds out about the death of his boss. Okay, actually, cool scene with the explosion, where they go into the dude's home and just kind of, I enjoyed that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was okay. That was not bad.
And the movie takes a long time to kind of explain these things, which I appreciate, because it's not in a hurry to explain stuff. I enjoy that. So yeah, so Owen's just like, all right, we gotta go. So he takes his son Connor, and they just kind of go out on the road.
On the road
it's not clear where they're going. They're just hiding.
Yeah, I want to talk about this part, and I'll kind of jump the gun here, but So eventually he calls his brother-in-law and John Berthnall's character, and then the two bad guys go to the house and they find a picture. Well, they find that he left and they need to find where he's going. So Nicholas Holt's character walks around the house and just picks a random picture and says he's going to this guy. Like, that was so dumb. I couldn't believe it. Like, pick a better way to know where he's going. Like, that just made no sense. If whatever information James Spader knockoff has that is so crucial to, which they never say anything about that information. I don't know if that's good or bad or otherwise, but whatever. If this information is so important that it doesn't get out, why are you just picking a random picture off the wall and saying, here, let's try here?
It's a bit of a MacGuffin.
Yeah. Which I guess is fine. Like, you need plot devices, so I guess it's whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, but I guess to your point, the problem with this particular plot device is that, he gives the information to his son, like he writes it all down, like physically onto a piece of paper and says, if anything happens to me, run to the nearest, the local news and publish this. It's like, so they go on the road for a few days and there's probably hundreds of local news channels that they, pass. And it's like, you could stop at any one. We're not saying, we understand, like, you don't have to go to the one where you live because obviously they're hunting you. But like, just go to the one a few towns over, any direction.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We're not sure. Well, he's in Florida somewhere, isn't he? He was in like Tampa or something. I don't know. He's in some Florida suburb. It's like, just head on up to Atlanta and get it published. I mean, if it's so big, it's going to become national news no matter what. Okay.
Right.
Fine. So that's a problem, I guess. It's not clear why he has to go see his brother-in-law to, I guess, for protection, and also because it's Montana and it's supposed to be secluded. But not totally clear. But I was willing to look past that as the action developed. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
You obviously weren't.
Yeah, I just think this movie is it's pretty dumb is what it comes down to. It just doesn't, how it gets from plot point to plot point is just kind of convenience after convenience, which really a lot of movies do that. So it's not like that's something special that this movie just did. And I don't know, it just seems all very convenient. But there are some good parts in this movie. And actually, I think the bad guys are part of the good, actually. I know I kind of said the one was kind of basic, but their motivations or our lack of knowledge of their motivation is almost kind of cool. So the bad guys are cool. And I don't know, it's cool to see people hold big guns. So.
And it's also, I would say about the bad guys, they're refreshingly evil. Like they are evil. Like,
yeah,
they are absolutely sadistic.
Yeah, just about the only thing they don't do that's 100% evil is they don't kill the pregnant lady right away. Although they are willing to kill her later. So it's they're pretty down evil. Yeah.
They're brutal. And this gets into kind of some of the visual effects too. Like,
oh, they're terrible.
Particularly in the last scene, it looks so odd.
I think it looked awful. The fire is so bad.
It wasn't.
Maybe CGI fire is hard to do, but gosh, then don't do CGI fire.
They were just. It just looked odd.
I just don't understand why they put so much of it on the screen. Like, if it looks bad, don't show me it.
It was so.
It looked like something you'd make, like as an intro, like a big fire explosion in like a 7th grade video or something. Like, I don't know. It just looked terrible, and it was towards the end-ish kind of. We'll just go full spoilers at this point. Towards the end, after the bad guys are killed, which is probably a little early, too. I mean, they were one of the cooler parts of the movie. I don't know why they killed them off quick like that. At least the first one. I don't know.
I think it's more that the ending was just too long. Like the ending without the bad guys was just too long.
Yeah, that might be it. But they do some weird edits at the end when they're running from the fire, and I'm like, why are you just showing me fire? Like, show me the people, because the fire looks terrible. So at least give me something else to focus on.
Well, they were going for this like Luciferian imagery. Like they wanted that like fires of hell look as the killer like looks into the eyes of this child and murders him for the information that he knows. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, who's going to believe a kid, first of all? Also, it's like all you're really killing him for is the fact that he saw you kill his dad, which, you know, ordinarily in a normal movie, that would obviously be impetus from a killer's perspective to kill the kid as well. But like in comparison to the information that supposedly they're trying to protect, what's the big deal, you know? Because they're not sure how much the kid knows.
Yeah, as far as they know, he knows nothing.
Right. So I don't know. The more I talk to you about this, the more I'm starting to hate this movie. Not hate. I'm starting to see the light a little. I'm starting to see the fire.
Yeah,
in this movie a little bit more.
I think the worst scene in the movie to me is when Angelina Jolie meets the kid for the first time. It's so, oh my gosh, the dialogue is awful. I mean, there's blood all over him, and she's checking for wounds, fine, and he says, "It's not my blood," and Angelina Jolie instantly jumps to, someone must have killed someone near him. Why would you, like, I would instantly jump to, who did this kid just murder? Because he's running away from me. As if, like, I don't, like, she instantly just assumed that somebody he loved was killed next to him. It was just so out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
know. I would agree. I didn't like their entire relationship was really just quite strange.
They swore at each other a lot.
They swore at each other a lot, which I don't know.
Oh,
she kind of gives off this like cool mom, like this attempt at a cool mom kind of figure towards this child.
I'm changing my dumbest scene to one of the final scenes when he asks, what's going to happen to me? And the whole time I'm like, don't you say it. Don't you say it. Don't you say you'll take care of him. Don't you do it. And then she halfway did. And I said, okay, you halfway passed.
I mean, I was expecting that too. I was waiting on it on the edge of my seat. And I think it was an acceptable way to write it.
Maybe.
I think she should have left off the part, because I think what she said was, I don't know, but you can be sure that we're going to figure it out together.
Yes, she did. I think that's actually exactly what she said. So
something like that. So if she just said, ideally she would say, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Which would be the most realistic response. Frankly, I don't want this woman in charge of any child, because she's a bit of a wreck.
Yeah,
And
not so good on the emotional state of things.
yeah. But, I mean, the movie really could have bogged itself down if she ended up adopting.
Yeah, actually, thank goodness this is only an hour and 40. I mean, it's probably still a little too long, but if this were 2 hours, oh boy. Imagine
Oh my
stretching
God.
20 more minutes out of this. I could have seen that happening. It'd been like an hour 55. Wow.
Well, you know what? You know what's
thank goodness it was.
crazy? Well, this was based on a novel.
By the same name?
I'm not sure. Yes, novel of the same name. Michael Courtya. I think he co-wrote the screenplay as well. Released in 2014. And oddly, the cover of the book looks exactly the same too.
Yeah, they sometimes
The
do
movie.
that. It sometimes
Like,
gets like re-released.
No. Like the original cover looks exactly
Oh, really?
like look it up. It's kind of frightening. They changed the names. Oh. Weird.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's fire and nice. Well, it looks like it gets good reviews actually. 4.6 out of 5 on Barnes and Noble, 4 to 5 on Goodreads. Huh.
Okay. And it says the plot's a little different. I think it says after Indiana teenager Jace Wilson witnesses a murder, his parents cannot put him into witness protection because the killers have connections in law enforcement. So they entrust Jace's safety to Ethan and Allison Serban, a couple who run a wilderness survival program for troubled kids in Montana. The murderers, Jack and Patrick Blackwell, track Jace, now using the name Connor Reynolds, to a mountainous region. When he realizes they're closing in, Ethan and Jace take off into the wilderness. As a forest fire rages and a fierce electrical storm approaches, Connor meets Hannah Faber, a former smoke jumper who is now a lookout in an isolated fire tower. Having failed to save a young boy previously, Hannah vows to keep him safe. That is a much better plot setup than what we get in the film.
Yeah, that does sound better.
That sounds much better. Because I wanted to know more about the couple running the wilderness survival program. You could have done so much with that camp.
Yeah, they kind of tease that for a second, but then don't divulge into it whatsoever.
Disappointing.
Yeah. So real quick, I just want to. So I mentioned I saw 3 movies since we did the last pod. It was this one, Those Who Wish Me Dead, Army of the Dead. I was all about dead things, I guess. Oh boy, whew, that one's rough. And then Wrath of Man, also not good, not good.
Sure.
So this one might be the best. Which
wow,
heck of a week.
You just had a crazy,
I know,
cinematic week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
the tagline for Wrath of Man is a one-man army. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, whew. Well,
Okay. Well,
I'm honestly done.
Honest, as am I. Okay. So you've convinced me. Honestly, we can go if you're
real quick. I should say
Okay.
that there are some redeeming qualities of this movie. Like I said, the bad guys are moderately interesting. I think Jolie's pretty bad, but I think some of the supporting cast is good.
Yep.
Cool title. Actually, I'm running out of good things to say about this.
Okay.
Cool jump. Yeah.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
this is This is a fine setup. It's like you had picture you're on a volleyball team and somebody just gets a nice serve to them. They bump it right to you, and you can just hit it for the spike, and then you spike it, but it like hits the top of the net and just kind of dribbles over. That's that's what we have right here.
Kind of a cheap point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably quite a bit better than I'm giving it credit for. I don't know. I saw this last night. As we're recording this, I saw this last night. And I don't know, maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset for it. Maybe I thought it was going to be something different. I don't know. But it's probably a little better than I'm giving it credit for. But with that being said, 1.5.
All right. Fair enough. I initially gave it 2.5. Our conversation today has made me reflect more, and I'm giving it 5 out of 5.
Yes. Movie. So everything I said, pretty bad, but other than that, pretty stinking good.
You know, the 10% of it that is not bad is pretty good. I think I'll give it 2 stars out of 5. Honestly, I think that it's refreshing in a lot of ways, and it's not as tasteless or bland as you might think it is, just based on, I don't know if you watch the trailer or whatever, or going in. It's not quite a typical like action thriller.
Right.
I think it has a lot of unique elements that it blends. And I think the supporting cast is good. I think the villains are refreshingly evil. And it's got an interesting concept behind it. Would I recommend that you see this in a theater? Certainly not. Maybe if you have an HBO Max subscription and you're just, I don't know. Maybe you have a thing for Angelina Jolie. I don't know. Maybe you want to watch this movie.
Okay. There we go. Those who wish me dead. We did it. Should we move on to some recommendations, Sam?
Sure, let's get into some recommendations.
Cool. I got one, and I've been pretty excited about this. I'm going to recommend. I know it came out last year, and I'm super late to the party, but even if you were late, it's still joinable. And I'm gonna recommend on Netflix the Queen's Gambit. Man, super good. Obviously there's been so much said about like how technically well made this is, and it super is. Anya, I think it's pronounced Anya, maybe it's Anya. I don't really know actually. Anya Taylor-Joy, I'll say, she's super good in it, and man, she's gonna be a movie star. Like, just she'll get whatever role she wants, and there's something oddly cinematic about chess. Which sounds odd too. You think like how could you shoot chess by not making it look terrible or horribly boring? Right. And I like chess quite a bit, but it's done uniquely, and each episode has its own feel, and it's kind of edited differently each episode. At least in the chess sequences, I should say. So yeah, super good. I have one episode left, but I've enjoyed the heck out of it so far. So yeah, Queen's Gambit.
Whoa, yeah. I mean, I think we might have talked about this before. I don't know how you make time for all these TV shows on top of watching movies, because I really am uneducated about TV as a result of our watching schedule. But
yeah,
I need to check it out.
Sure.
I need to check it out, particularly these kind of limited run series.
Yeah, the limited series I like. You're in it for 6, 7, 8 episodes, and you're out, and you can take 3 weeks to watch it. It's not like I did this in 3 days. I started this probably 2 weeks ago. Not that I haven't wanted to finish it immediately, but just time.
Wow. Yeah. Well, what is time? What is time, really? All right, cool. I mean, I need to check it out. I do.
It's
Just
worth it. It is worth it. It really is.
not because you recommend it, because as we know, I have no respect for your opinion
you don't care
whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
But
No, I get it.
but yes, I'll have to check out Queen's Gambit. This week I've been on a Billy Wilder kick.
Oh
Like,
man, I've been seeing that. Oh,
God, what a genius!
dude, he's so good.
Why do we not talk more about Billy Wilder?
I feel like I wrote this in one of my reviews for Wilder. Like consistently for years, I had said like my favorite director is Quentin Tarantino, but like you watch Billy Wilder stuff and other directors too, you know, like a Paul Thomas Anderson or someone like that, and you're like, gosh, how can I choose one director? Like Wilder is so good, so good.
I know you did. I was stalking some of your reviews. I think it might be, actually your review for this movie. I really couldn't decide, but I'll round up my rating for good measure as Billy Wilder is in strong contention as the greatest director of all time for me. That's what you wrote on March 21st, 2021, Will. So yeah, that was your review, of course, of Witness for the Prosecution, which is actually based on a Agatha Christie book, which I didn't know. Agatha Christie, of course, the mastermind behind Murder on the Orient Express, amongst other things. And yeah, this is a fantastic, like, old school legal drama, very British, and it successfully blends kind of distinctive Billy Wilder humor. You know, it's very dark and dramatic, but also quite funny. The dialogue is light and peppery and just witty. So yeah, check out Witness for the Prosecution.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll second that recommend too. That's so great.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, Wilder's someone who I've only seen a half dozen or so of his movies, and I can't wait to see them all. Oddly, you know, Sunset Boulevard is definitely, I feel like, one people talk about the most. That or like maybe The Apartment, Some Like It Hot. Maybe.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Sunset Boulevard, oddly, it not my favorite by quite a stretch.
No,
Of
no,
his,
I agree.
I should say. Still a good movie. I'm not saying that Sunset Boulevard's bad, but yeah,
No.
Wilder, great, good recommendation. I like that one a lot.
He's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're one of these people who find older black and white movies to be maybe less than entertaining. Check out some Billy Wilder movies.
Yeah,
he'll change your mind on that.
I'd probably start with Some Like It Hot, and then The Apartment, because those are probably the easier to watch. But once you get into it, man, hard to stop. He's so great.
Oh, phenomenal. Excellent.
All
right.
There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
We're gonna start hitting some good ones here. You know, we have Cruella and A Quiet Place Part 2 both coming out in 2 days as we're recording this. So the 28th. Sam, I think we do Cruella next week and Quiet Place Part 2 the week after. What do you say?
Excellent. That's exciting.
Boom, there we go. So look forward to those. But Sam, where can I find you on the Letterboxd?
If you're looking, you can find me on letterboxd.com/sjdierberger. Where can I find you, Will?
You can find me on Letterboxd at Will Spalding. You can find us on all podcast platforms at Those Film Nerds and anchor.fm/Those Film Nerds. Excuse me. Wow. Couldn't speak.
Been a late night.
Yeah, no kidding. ThoseFilmNerds.willy.com as well. I did publish my most recent blog post as well, kind of outlining my most anticipated movies for the rest of 2021. So check that out, and find us at pretty much Those Film Nerds everywhere. But Sam, until next time,
keep watching movies, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you.